What's up, all you beautiful listeners? Today we're going to be talking about all the games that are going to be releasing into our lives in October of the year of our Lord 2025. We got a lot to talk about here, and some of these are going to be things that you're going to know about right from the start, and then others are going to be things you've never even heard of, and that's all right. We're going to start off with release date-wise, and we're going to October 6th. Where we're going to see a game called House of Necrosis coming out. This is basically just like a Resident Evil 1 clone combined with what looks like it's going to have some turn-based combat in it. This is just going to be purely released on Steam. After that, also on October 6th, we have a game called Daimon Blades coming out. This is from a developer called Strumon Studios. They kind of have a mixed bag in terms of reviews on their games, but the trailer kind of gives you the vibe of a modern Doom clone such as Metal Hellsinger, but with a little bit more of a melee-focused combat system. Another one we got coming out on October 6th is Carimara. This is a new game from the publisher Critical Reflex, so it's almost guaranteed to at least be good because Critical Reflex, the publisher, has been on a roll and they are very trustworthy. This game looks really strange. It has a very creepy atmosphere, and I love the tagline that's "Ask wrong, and you may wake something that remembers your name." It kind of just stood out to me, not even just because of the tagline, not just because of the atmosphere, but also because it is by far the most mystery-driven thing of anything I'm going to talk about on here. Critical Reflex is a great publisher though, so definitely keep an eye out on this, especially if you're interested in a kind of horror card game hybrid. October 7th, we're going to be getting a game called Gretlow Tapes. It's a new survival horror game. It has a heavy focus on psychological horror, and with its found footage aesthetic, I'm sure it's going to make some people jump. It's made by Agon Games, who have a bunch of indie horror projects that have all received pretty solid reviews off of its little small horror games that have done pretty well. Also on October 7th, we have Deathground, which I don't even know how to talk about. The only reason why I added this one, because I have to sift through a lot to be able to figure out what I'm going to add to the list of games I'm going to talk about. I added this one because it was a dinosaur survival horror game that has online co-op. That is it. That was my reasoning for adding this. It's hard to recommend anything that has not come out yet, but especially a game like this, I have no idea if this will even remotely be good or if it's just going to end up being total crap. Who knows? But I included it because dinosaur co-op survival horror game. That sounds like fun. So, October 9th. Now, this is the first one I'm really excited to talk about, called By Sweet Carole. It has an old 2D animation style to it that looks heavily inspired off of old Disney movies from back in the day. It's hard to deny, it looks kind of cool. Now, maybe they'll fumble the bag here, but it comes from a reliable publisher, and so far it looks incredible. So I would definitely keep an eye out on this one, because I could even see myself buying this. It almost reminds me of back when Cuphead first came out, and people were obsessing over how Cuphead was created. October 7th also has 3 other games releasing on it, by the way, with one called The Lacerator. This has a very old Resident Evil look to it, but just a whole lot trashier. And when I say trashier, I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean it looks very, like it's trying to mimic almost like a snuff film look. Like there's a lot of like explicit imagery, and the gore actually plays a pretty big part in the action as well as your character surviving. It reminds me of a hybrid between Resident Evil and Manhunt. It could be good, it could be bad, who knows. Little Nightmares 3. Now this one's almost guaranteed to at least be good. It's the 3rd game in a trilogy that's been very popular. If you like the previous ones, you'll probably enjoy it. You're going to be solving a lot of puzzles. So if you're looking for like a survival horror game with not many puzzles, do not get this. A lot of this is going to be solving stuff. But if you're into that, you can now solve all these same exact puzzles and these enigmas in 2-player co-op in the atmospheric world of Little Nightmares. I love the aesthetics of this trilogy. This is almost guaranteed to at least be pretty good, so go check it out. And this is the first like big game on our list of things that you would actually know what we're talking about. Sadly, the only thing about Little Nightmares 3 that I'm a little bit irritated about is that I feel like it would have been a great opportunity to have split screen co-op for consoles. I'm a big couch co-op guy, and I understand that a lot of video games do not care to implement couch co-op. Neither did Little Nightmares 3, it is online co-op, but I'm sure it'll still be a good time. Next, we have Lightkeepers Curse as the last game to release on October 9th. You're going to be moving through dark hallways, solving puzzles, and avoiding creatures that stalk you, which seems very similar to something like Amnesia or Outlast. Hopefully it can have a little bit of a splash, but this is a very busy month for horror. But if you're looking for that puzzle-focused survival horror game, especially one where you can't really fight the enemy, because this seems like that type of game. It seems like one where the creatures and the stuff chasing after you might not really be able to push back against them. Not entirely too sure about that, but that's at least the impression I got from the trailers. Now we're skipping way later in the month. We're going to be talking about October 21st, and we got Painkiller. This is an action game, but we include it because it has its gothic themes in its underworld setting. It's very Doom-esque. It's a reboot of an old series called Painkiller. I've only played a bit of Painkiller Overdose, which I really enjoyed. Check it out if you like a Doom clone every once in a while, if you're into like the Shadow Warriors out there, if you're into the Wolfensteins, whatever it is. I wanted to include it just based on the aesthetics of it rather than it actually being a horror game. It is action oriented. And in the same vein as that, another game coming out on October 21st is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. But you're going to be playing as a vampire detective in an RPG, and that fits right into what a lot of the monster horror fans out there would love to play. Being able to play as a vampire detective is something a lot of people in the horror community wish they could do in a video game. So here we are. This is why this is here. So check it out if you like the first one, or jump right into the sequel, or play both of them. Who knows? I've never touched either one of these. This is a cult classic series though, and finally the game got a sequel over 20 years since the original. October 22nd, we have Days Without an Incident. This one is kind of weird looking. It's a much shorter survival horror game. It literally says in the description on Steam that it is a short survival horror experience. But this developer has made a game that has overwhelmingly positive reviews. I have faith this could be good. It looks like it'll be pretty solid, but hopefully it is not an expensive game and they go much more in the cheaper route, or even just make it free, considering they point out in their description that it is a short survival horror game. On October 23rd, we have Tormented Souls 2. It's a sequel to somewhat of a knockoff of those early Silent Hill, Resident Evil survival horror games. We've been getting a lot of these. I don't know what is up. It had the puzzle solving adventures, it had the fixed camera angles, and Tormented Souls 2, hopefully going to do better than the first one. I did not love what I had played of the first one so far. I thought it was decent, but I think it's the perfect jumping pad for a sequel to be amazing. I think the second one has a chance to be something really great if they just improve off of everything that the first one did. But if the first one worked for you, definitely check out the second one, and who knows, maybe even the second one will appeal to somebody like me who didn't love the first game. October 31st, Halloween itself, we have two games coming out that I want to talk about. One called Backrooms Reminiscence. If you are familiar with the Backrooms, you're familiar with the Backrooms. This is nothing new. It is exactly what you would expect from a Backrooms game. This is a single-player experience. It's a developer that's done a couple of other Backrooms games, such as Backrooms Exploration and Backrooms Found Footage. If you liked either one of those, then this is like an automatic must-get for you. The final game I want to talk about is called the Naki Files. I wanted to include another co-op survival horror game, and this one in particular stood out to me because it makes you protect yourself in this Home Alone style gameplay, setting up a house to prevent monsters from killing you and all your friends. You have to uncover these conspiracies and publish them to the public before you die to these monsters, and I enjoyed that there was this one part, this actually made me pick the game for the list, that you could throw plates at the bad guys, which makes me think that there's a lot of stuff in the environment that's interactable, kind of like in the same exact way of like a simulator game that you could just like pick up anything in an environment. The description of this is unveil the conspiracies by publishing everything online in this multiplayer co-op survival horror. Type everything manually on the computer, defend your home in a Home Alone style way, and unload bullets on the Anunnaki trying to stop you from publishing. That sounded very interesting to me, having somebody type up things manually while your friends are trying to defend you, setting up your house Home Alone style. conceptually, this sounds like this could be a breakout hit for the co-op horror community. Is it going to be? I don't know. I just work here. What are you guys most excited about and coming out inside October to be able to play? Comment down below if any one of these games you want me to play and review. If I decide to pick the game that you commented, I will include your comment in the next video for credit on telling me what to play next. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. You already know what we do here. We're going to be appreciating everything that is terrifying in art, and I'm always going to appreciate you.